Welcome everybody to the first official Wolfe Nonsurgical video shoot that we're going to be doing. This is going to be kind of like an online training for everybody to kind of come on, ask questions about physical problems that you're struggling with. If I have family members or certain ailments that I'm struggling with, we're here to answer kind of any questions from what we do, which is Wolfe Nonsurgical, and we're going to be answering those questions. But if you have questions about health or emotional well-being or anything, we are here to take it. I'm Sage Wolfe. I'm the lead trainer at the Wolfe Organization, International Training Institute of Health. Please come on, join us, and welcome. This is our other head trainer, Jason.
Hi everyone, I'm Jason, one of the master trainers here.
So we're pretty much just going to be talking about today, what is Wolfe Nonsurgical? So what Wolfe Nonsurgical is, and actually Helen just asked that question, what exactly is Wolfe Nonsurgical and what can I get from the benefits? So in general, what Wolfe Nonsurgical is, Dr. Wolfe has done different types of healing modalities throughout his learning and trainings, and he created his own personal technique that we go deeper past the actual physical layer of just touching the surface tension of the body. We want to find what is bound, what is started to dehydrate, what toxins are kind of buried into the tissues, and we want to relieve that so we can rehydrate, restructure, and rejuvenate the tissue back to its original state so we can feel that elasticity that we felt when we were a kid. So we could feel like I don't have to go through each day like it's a struggle, like I'm having to have pain throughout certain parts of my day because it's just the average thing. Everybody has aches, everybody has pains. You just got to get used to it. That's not the case. We want to show you that our mind is stronger than our body is, and so where your mind goes, the body is going to follow. So if we really have a pretty bumpy, awful terrain because I'm not trying to stay balanced in myself, I know that I'm going to have certain problems pop up, like I could have a bad low back, I could start to get carpal tunnel syndrome, I get chronic migraines towards the afternoon. Well, why does that happen? And we want to kind of dive more into the nitty-gritty stuff of what causes the problem and then how we can kind of attack the problem, not attack, but lovingly kind of apply pressure, because you know what, you put yourself under so much pressure for so long that something had to pop. So we need to kind of push back, but in a positive, loving way, so we can change who you are for yourself. Because I don't want to change you, but if you want to change, I want to give you the tools that I've learned, that I've come across, where I feel like I've fallen down to pick myself back up, and I've learned. We want to give you these tools to see how really much do you want to own your life? Do you want to feel like you're giving it out? Do you want to feel like you're getting home at the end of the day exhausted, not there for the family, not there for yourself? Or do you want to be that Braveheart warrior, that Braveheart goddess, ready to take the challenge of each day? Because you should be taking on the challenges with ease, with grace, knowing that you can do it all, but the only limitation is yourself.
Absolutely, and it's all about getting down to the core of our problem. It's not just the symptoms. We want to take it to the core and find out where this is all stemming from. So that's why it's so important that, yes, we have the non-surgical, but we dive into the emotional, the nutritional, the spiritual as well. And we want to attack it from all angles so that you have the vitality you need. So it's beautiful that we have this Wolfe Nonsurgical technique where we can lovingly open up the tissue and allow for that lymph flow, the circulation, blood flow to all be restored. Because every day when you're going about through your work, through your job, whatever it may be, and you're tense and contracted, how are your muscles doing? They're also going to be tense and contracted. You're dehydrated, you're not eating right, you don't have that proper nutrition to bring it into the cells. Everything's going to be bounded. So what our job here is to show you the tools and the techniques that you can bring home to your family, bring home to your kids, so we can open up the tissue and that you don't have to be in pain. Pain is a GPS, but you don't have to be living in pain. When you have pain, it is a good tool to find out what needs to be addressed. But if we're continually blocking it out, using painkillers to block it out, ignoring it, eventually it's going to solidify and calcify where you don't feel it anymore.
And so let's kind of dive into it. What is Wolfe Nonsurgical? So we have a specific technique, and I can explain a little bit. I use my elbow. And so 90% of the work is done with our elbow. Yes, of course, I get in there at the beginning to do some nice effleurage massaging to open up, kind of map out the area, give us a good idea what's kind of going on. So if you had a specific problem and you came to us, we would be kind of going in at the beginning, and I would be just kind of seeing where you're at. And then eventually we want to be going in with the Wolfe Nonsurgical. If we kind of brought some of the inflammation down, the body's ready to take on some of these therapeutic techniques. We bring in the Wolfe Nonsurgical and we take our elbow and we go in and we pull dehydrated tissue apart so we can restore it back to the original state. So how do you create scar tissue in the body? Scar tissue is technically an over umbrella of what actual calcification. Your bone is made from calcium. So if I go to the gym and I'm working out with really heavy weights and I'm constantly causing a tearing, a micro tear within my tissue, and if I'm really hydrating properly, eating properly, I shouldn't be damaging too much, depending if I could be lifting too much though and be damaging then. But I'm going down and I'm going to do these micro tears within my muscle fascia so I can be building up more muscle in that general area. But even in those micro tears, you're getting lots of lactic acid go to that area. And the thing is, it's not just the lactic acid going to the area. That's going to happen regardless. How acidic are you though? How much lactic acid are you putting in the area? And then it comes down to, are you living in fight or flight? Because when your adrenaline, and then with adrenaline and histamine can come into the area. When that adrenaline and histamine comes into the area, it actually binds that lactic acid, because I want healthy tissue. Healthy tissue has nice pathways allowing the blood to flow through my arteries, my ligaments and tendons to move freely. In that muscle tissue, if I go in and I tear up and I put a bunch of lactic acid and I get into that fight or flight state and contraction, I start to bind. And through that binding, you get ligaments overlapping over some muscle tissue. You get certain things happening in certain areas where we actually have to go in and restructure that bound tissue with our elbow by pulling in different directions. It's not like we go one way over another. We don't know until we get into the area, because there's a crack in the knot everywhere. And that's just it. What do you have? Do you have a little bit of crystallization? So you've had some tearing, you built up some crystallization, the body was too acidic there. Do you have a large, starting to get like an actual knot in the area? And I know like my muscle tissue should be smooth, but I'm starting to feel a mass buildup. I've tore it for so long that it's started to bind all that muscle tissue, all those ligaments and tendons in the surrounding area. It depends on where we're working, and you're getting this contraction. And that contraction for so long can grow stronger and stronger. And if you are not in a healthy state, our body has tons of minerals and vitamins in it. But how are we going to buffer down that inflammation if I'm not putting the right minerals and vitamins into my body? I'm actually going to be taking it from my body. So I can lose bone density from my bones in the surrounding area by putting the calcium from my bones over that area to buffer down the inflammation. So we're going to have to kind of restructure by pulling that apart in a loving way. Make sure you're really hydrated, you're eating a proper diet, a nice alkaline diet, so we can hopefully get that displaced calcium back into the bones with some nutraceuticals as well. So just, if you're on there right now, take your hand, and you don't have to do this, but take your hand, squeeze like this, and time yourself. Do it for 60 seconds, really hard, squeeze for 60 seconds, and then try to open it up and move it around nice and freely. How nice does that feel, other than in the morning stretching things out, allowing flow to come in, and then having that movement? That contraction for so long can grow so prominent that you can get from crystallization to calcification to a fibroid. That fibroid can mutate depending on your thing, and then you end up with a tumor. So it really depends on your situation and what we're dealing with. But when we're here, we want to kind of cater to each person and what their condition is. So if I'm noticing that this person is in constant contraction all over their body, it might not be the non-surgical we're going in for first. We need to go with the diet and why their emotions were so off in the first place, to be putting all that negative foods and negative beliefs into their system to be so contracted. So non-surgical is the key to releasing the joints. But where is the key? It lies in yourself. It lies in having a free mindset, by knowing going to McDonald's every day does not really benefit me after all.
And like, what are your habits? What are you doing on a daily basis? Are you stretching every morning, every night, or are you waking up? And like, how do you set the intention for the day? Are you waking up on a negative note, or are you waking up with positivity, saying that I'm gonna conquer this day, I'm gonna have the best day ever? Waking up, taking in hot water, just bringing in that hydration so your body can assimilate and detoxify. It's like a bear. When you wake up in the morning, the bear drinks as much water as he can so he can get his bowels moving.
That's anybody in the animal kingdom. And animals are more, they're not smarter than us, but in ways they are because they're more intuitive. In the animal kingdom, they wake up, you see the cheetah go stretch, walk down to the watering hole, hydrate, and then relieve itself and have a nice large poop. Because then that's how it sets itself up for the day. It's hydrated, it's defecated, so it's released what it was inside him from yesterday, because we don't want putrefaction to happen. And that's where the infection starts to spread. When the infection starts to spread, the tissue's not as healthy. You don't recover as quick. So when you fall down, that crystallization isn't just crystallization anymore. The body starts to calcify the area because you're just so inflamed.
That's a good note that you brought up, because Melvin asked a question. I have IBS, silently suffering for feels like over 20 decades. I get lower back pain, reflux, or gas, and I burp a lot.
So irritable bowel syndrome, my friend, in all honesty, everybody has a little bit, because we're not all perfect with our diets. We choose to go out and have this. Our bowels are always going to be switching it up. And the thing is, you want it to have reacting. You want it to react. I want it to change. But IBS, so there's no consistency there. So are you consistent with the diet? Is there any have you ever had a nutritional consult, or just looked into our library at the Perfect Day guide? Because at the Perfect Day guide, we give really a lot of recommendations on what a perfect day diet kind of should be. And everybody's slightly different, so we would cater to the person to what their needs are. But in general, we need at least 80% fresh and raw coming in. If you've been having IBS for around 20 or over 20 decades, that's a long time. If you've been having it for over 20 years, my friend, that means that this has gotten to the point where you have leaky gut. And so we're gonna need to really be on top of throwing in nice fresh and raw greens in there, creating more good bacteria than bad. And right now you got way more bad than good. And so you get lower back pain because this lower abdominal region has had so much putrefaction in there for so long that waste has slowly started to eat itself through your peritoneum. So that's the inlining of the intestinal wall. That seeps out into your bloodstream, and then you kind of start to get these aches and pains. And everybody is different. So for Jason, it's going to be a shoulder. For me, it's going to be my hip. For another person, it's their big toe. For somebody else, it's their head. It's just where are your weak links. So you get gas and acid reflux. So with the gas and acid reflux, something quick to just take that would really minimize that, I would like you to take half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of baking soda in a warm glass of water and drink that down. So once you drink that down, that baking soda is actually going to go in and neutralize the acidity, help the kind of angina, the gas that's kind of going on. You burping a lot because you're constantly trying to get stuff up that's not able to be digested. It's old food that's kind of getting stuck in these little pockets. Not saying you have colitis right now, but we have IBS, so you might have a couple little pockets in there that are hanging out. The intestinal tract is not at a good, healthy state at this moment. So we really I would recommend the daily cleansing tea, our black diamond and our black gold. The black gold should be in all your smoothies, so it kind of goes in and it coats your intestines with nice minerals, and it helps clean out any negative pathogens by flushing it out through your lymphatic system. And guys, 3 ways the lymphatic system works: sweating, pooping, and peeing. There's no other way to do it. So did you get out and exercise today a little bit to sweat? If you did, great. How many times did you go to the washroom? I had 3 meals, but I only pooped once. Weird, because I would think it's pretty weird to watch a car go in a tunnel and then just never come out the other end. Where'd that car go? That cargo is stuck. And so we need to get that car out of there. And so by doing that, I would recommend the daily cleansing tea. If some people are comfortable with it, we would get them on a coffee enema protocol and doing some certain enemas and backing off with that. And learning to retrain the gut to be a healthy, beautiful environment of good and bad bacteria with a balance. Not more bad than good. And I would say 99% of people have more bad than good, because I choose to live a little bit more on the bad side than the good side. And it doesn't mean you're a bad person, but it's where your beliefs and what is your worth.
And even though you're eating a good diet, what is your body absorbing? Because you can be eating fresh and raw and eating all these good foods, but is your body actually breaking it down and absorbing these nutrients? Well, if you're backed up in your large intestine and through your organs, your body's going to be having a hard time to break it down and metabolize those nutrients.
And I'll just touch on that. And like I don't even know how to believe this sometimes. I was working on a gentleman, he was in World War II. This was about 4.5 years ago. I did 3 abdominal lifts on him and really opened up his abdomen. He went in for a colonic, and he was getting these really weird red cherry pit seeds coming out in the colonic. And they couldn't figure it, and he used to eat those. They were these dried little cherry pit kind of seed things that he was eating in World War II. That was in there for over 35 years. It just doesn't even make sense what can actually get adhesed to the inlining in the intestine. And yes, your intestine is this big, but it can widen quite a bit. So how backed, and it's very long, you got 22 feet in there. So how backed up are you? Is drinking alkaline water good? Okay, drinking alkaline water is good. It's good, decent water, but why are you so acidic anyways? Are you living in constant fear? What we really try to drink a lot here is structured water, because it balances out the alkalinity to a natural body pH, and it also takes, and the thing is, there's no filter or anything in it. So people are like, what about the heavy metals? What about all this? Everything is frequency. A rock has a frequency. When I look at you and I tell you, you are just so beautiful and I love you so much, that makes you feel really great. Or if I say, oh, I hate you, get out of my face, it makes me feel bad. So if I'm getting all these different emotions, everything is frequency. So what the structure unit does is it changes the frequency of the actual water. So even if there is negative stuff in it, your body refutes it and won't digest that, and you actually refute it by sweating or peeing and pooping it out, and then your body takes on from the water what it actually needs is. If I'm dealing with somebody who is freaking out all the time, doesn't know how to calm themselves down, and they're like, I just need my alkaline water. I think alkaline water is great because it balances out how acidic you are. But I would really like you just to get into some Braveheart breathing, doing some mirror work, looking at yourself in the mirror and just telling yourself you got this, telling yourself you love you, because you know what? There's nobody gonna be here for you other than you. Mm-hmm. Yes, people like my family, my friends love me, but they ain't you. You're the only one who's going to take the massive personal action for you. Nobody's going to hold your hand. So I want you to know you deserve it. So let's own it. Couple other questions. Sorry.
So Lori asks, how do you get or make structured water in Ontario?
So we sell structured water units here at the Detox. If I lived by a fast-running river or a waterfall, that is exactly structured water. So if I went up to a waterfall, think about it. The amount of minerals, and I don't care what's in that water. The amount of rocks, minerals, Mother Earth is beautiful. She gives us so much. Look at the birds, the bees, the trees. They're all healthy. Our world's only getting more toxic, but they're still around. So the reason why that's happening is because it's a frequency. So as the water coming along a fast-running river or a waterfall, it's churning in many different directions, even into a double helix. So similar, it goes different ways. So it kind of breaks down the molecular structure of the water to a lighter molecular structure, so your cells are able to absorb it. So by running through all these rocks and minerals and dirt, it's actually giving it a high vibrational frequency to take on.
And it's breaking down the surface tension so it has more surface area so that your cell can actually absorb the water. Because if you're just drinking regular tap water or filtered water, it's not structured, so your body has to use the energy it has to structure it itself. So instead of using that energy to heal, it's structuring the water so you can absorb it. So even if you're drinking alkaline water, filtered water, you do want to structure it so that your body can intake it.
Yeah. So if a structure unit can change tap water frequency to a more matched and loving harmonic, can't I do similar to my food, which has been poisoned at a source at the Best Fay, a waterfall in Scotland? Totally. And if you had a structured water unit, a lot of what our clients will do is they'll take that structured water and they'll put it in a spray bottle with them. So that when they go out to dinner, they'll actually spray that structured water over top of their food or into the water glass that got poured for them. And actually, I think it's about 1 gallon per 100 gallons that it'll actually restructure. So people can I can bring my structured water bottle around full of structured water throughout the day. Once I get to the last 3 to 4 ounces, I'm going to restructure that water. So just pouring more water into it actually restructures it because that water is still holding that frequency. The frequency doesn't diminish. The only way it'll actually start to fade is if I put it in direct sunlight. How do I structure it? So, as I was saying, it's either like a fast running river or a waterfall. You could go to one of those and collect some water yourself and have that if you live near a nice running river. Or you would purchase a structured water unit. And that unit, you can literally, I have a portable one. I've trained in India, Hong Kong, Argentina, and I've literally just put that thing under taps everywhere, and I've never really gotten that traveler's diarrhea, as it says, or kind of like food poisoning symptoms. So you can just bring that structured, but we have multiple different units. You can get a house unit, you can get a portable unit. It really depends on what you want. Okay.
So next up, we have Amy. I'm booked in for knee surgery. What do you think Wolfe Nonsurgical will help me?
Yes, okay, and so I do want to make this statement because I've been doing non-surgical now. I've been training, well, if I want to be legit about it, I've been doing it for about 11 years, but I got certified the first time when I was 13. I didn't start working for the company fully until I was 17. I'm 25 now, so I've been training for about 6 years. I've been doing it solidly for about 9. I've never had somebody booked for surgery that ended up having to go for surgery. I had a guy come in, he was on the wait list for I think it was like 16 months. And he had 2 weeks before his knee surgery, and he really didn't want it. But like there was no getting around it. His knee was so bad, what else can I do? Because if you don't know, you don't know. So he came in, and I was like, okay, I see it. It was actually very inflamed the first time I saw it, so I didn't even touch on the knee. I opened up above onto his hip and his ankle. Next time he came in, the knee inflammation was totally gone 3 days later, so I go into that knee really, really thoroughly. After I take his knee apart just once, he was like, whoa, I don't know if I would need this surgery. I'm having more mobility already in my knee, and the pain is starting to subside. It wasn't fixed. But he was like, the results I'm seeing already were giving him the confidence that, why are you allowing yourself to give away a joint? God gave you this body. Why are you giving away one of your pieces? Why are we allowing one of our pieces to deteriorate to that degree? So I was like, come back in 3 to 4 days and we'll touch on it again. He came back in 3 to 4 days. I did it the second time. He was like, I'm canceling the surgery. There's no way I'm going. I ended up working his knee 7 times because it was something more severe. And I want to make sure that everything's muscle memory. So if I just left it at 2 or 3 times, it might come back in a couple weeks and the irritation might come back. No, I continued with that knee. And like 6 months later, he was playing hockey again. He's 70 years old, and he was playing like in the senior league, the hockey that winter. He goes out and runs along the beach in Mexico when he comes, and it's like the body wants to heal. The body wants to get better. But the thing is, the older we get, the slower it'll get. So how long have you been struggling with this? Oh, I've been struggling with it for a few months. This might be a 1 or 2 kind of thing, and you might be out of here already and off to the races. It's been going on for about 15, 20 years. You might need to work at this for 9 months to 15 months. But think about it. You had a lifetime's worth of poison and kind of not doing the best for ourselves. So can you handle 9 months of loving you? And things will change.
And me, myself, personally, I've had knee surgery done on my knee and ended up tearing my ACL again. And personally, I'm so happy I found the Wolfe Nonsurgical because before I started working with the Dr. Detox, I was complaining about my knee. It kept popping out of place all the time. I wanted to go in for knee surgery again. At that time, I had no idea what scar tissue was. I didn't know that the amount of scar tissue I created from my first surgery, what it caused. I never alleviated that. So of course, I ended up tearing it again. So I wanted to go in for knee surgery, and Sage brought up that we need to address the scar tissue in there. And I'm like, what is scar tissue? And he explained to me. I had the surgery done, they cut into my knee, and now I had these tentacles of scar tissue just rooting around the ligaments, the tendons, the joints. So no wonder it popped out again. So doing the non-surgical, I didn't even get a treatment yet. I went in and I took the course, and just from the other practitioners working on me,
and they're learning at the time, and they're learning at the time. They don't know what, like, how to do a full-on treatment. They're not pushing. You're here to learn, because we host courses. I teach the Wolfe Nonsurgical. I don't want to be treating. I will treat, because some people don't have the family, or they don't have the funds, or they don't have the time, or they just don't care, and that's okay. I will treat anybody who wants to be treated. But I also would like to train you a bit, because I would like you to take this stuff home and do it yourself. You deserve to live a pain-free life. And I don't need to hold these secrets from you. I know how to do it. I know how to help somebody. So it's like, let's help as many people as possible, because I find our world is only getting sicker. But yeah, and just by Jason getting worked by a couple practitioners who were in the learning stages, he was like, oh, I think I might be doing this as a job. And 4 years later, we still can't kick him out the door.
Here I am. But it changed my perspective to surgery, and there is another option. You don't just have to get butchered by the surgeon. There is another option to it. So I'm ecstatic myself that I was able to get this technique and alleviate my knee. But it's also the different techniques I was able to take home, like the different stretches, the pelvic expander, really clapping my knee. Like this past week, I knew that my knee was flaring up a bit. Well, I wasn't stretching as much as I should, so I clapped it for an hour last night, and it feels totally different. The tension from it is alleviated, feels more open and mobile.
And don't worry, guys, we will be going over what clapping is, what belly button therapy is. I want everybody on here to see it from a different perspective, to see what we do, how I would attack just a small little problem on my elbow. And we will be touching on certain things. But let's continue along with some of these questions, because we're getting a lot coming in. So I fill bottles, save my wine bottles in the creek during the summer. There is a difference. Yeah, there's a total difference by just getting some kind of water from the earth that's been churned and energized. You're going to notice a lot of difference drinking that water than just getting it out of a tap. Check out YouTube. There are a few videos that explains it better. Okay.
So we have Nancy. I had my pancreas removed since the surgery. My bowels have not been moving well, and I'm noticing a lot of tightness in my abdomen. What would you recommend?
Okay, so belly button therapy is going to be huge, and clapping that incision where they took out your pancreas. And we really got to watch the diet. So what is the pancreas for? A lot of doctors would say we just kind of developed it over time, and it's kind of a useless organ. It actually really helps break down like sugars and carbohydrates in our body, so it's super important. The pancreas, so if you don't have that, you should be not taking in a lot of carbs and not taking in a lot of especially artificial sugars. Fruit is totally different. It has a different spin, so you can be eating fruits and stuff like that throughout the day. But yeah. So I would be doing belly button therapy depending on how soon the surgery was. So if you want to give us a call, and I can talk to you a little bit more about that and know when your surgery was, and we can kind of give you a little guide. But it would be belly button therapy, clapping the scar really thoroughly, and just maybe doing a little bit more cleaning out of the gut, because for the pancreas to get removed, it was starting to rot itself out. Why did that happen? Because the lower bowel area was starting to rot itself out. And so that was just the weak organ to go. I'm loving me now and forever. If you have a leaky gut, can it repair and get me close to 100%? What is your 100%? I don't think you need to have one. I think you can get better every day. You can get to the point where you don't even have any of those symptoms, but you can still get better. And I can promise you this. I've had 70-year-olds who just like still wore Depends for so long, and they just didn't, like, it's only going to get worse for them in their mind. They hop on some of our protocols. Getting a consultation, guys, it's $150. One of our master practitioners will work with you for life. You can contact us, and if they leave our company and they're not part of us, you get set up with the next practitioner that you would like. And the thing is, we're here for you. So we're going to critique things. Your perfect day is not going to stay the same because you're getting more perfect all the time. So you're going to remove things, you're going to add things, you're not going to have to take that product anymore. I might want to add a little bit more of that product. We always want to critique things because you are never the same. You're not the same as you were yesterday, and you are sure as heck not going to be the same tomorrow as you were today. Okay, a natural source of water. Thank you. How much structured water do you add to 1 gallon of water? Well, if I was having structured water in my fridge, I would fill up like a gallon, but like I would want to put at least 500 mils per the gallon, and that'll totally structure the whole gallon altogether. If you put like a liter in your bathtub, like if I just filled up a nice big cup and I put that into my bathtub water because I only had my structure unit, I know that I'm bathing now in structured water. I'm absorbing not as much chlorine, and that's not happening to my, because people actually get out of the bath and they're like, my skin's drier, it ain't softer. And the thing is, because we have a lot of, depends on where you're at, you got fluoride, you got chlorine, you got heavy metals, depends on what's in your water, but there's stuff in there that's really not reacting with your skin that well. So I would be taking like a glass and putting that into the bath, and then I'd be bathing in that, because then I'd be bathing in structured water, and you're going to feel yourself a lot more silky smooth by bathing in structured water. Is from a natural, should I not filter it as well? Well, if you have a filter, you should filter because I don't like, there's going to be maybe a lot, from a fast running river, guys, there's going to be some dirt in there. So I'm like, if you have a filter, use the filter because you're still getting the structure out of it. If I have a filter and a structure unit, I'm going to filter the water, then structure it.
You're just getting a superior water.
You're getting a superior water. Exactly.
All right, Maria. Hi guys, Maria here back in Italy. Nice seeing you both, and thanks for the work you did on Juliana as well. You're so welcome. Going to Mexico was so worth it. Can't wait to go back and take the trainings. I have a question. Can you get rid of crystallization, and how?
Yeah, crystallization is going to feel more like grizzle while you're working on it. And I will be the one to like, or one of the master practitioners who do the Wolfe Nonsurgical would be the one to depict if it's crystallization, if it's like a scar tissue buildup, which would be like a knot. It's a mass within the muscle tissue. It's a mass around the bone. It's like, why is that there? And then if it gets so hard that I know the bone shape isn't like that, but it's protruding now, but it feels like bone, that's calcification. So you've gone so long that you're now calcified. So, okay, Sage Toby Maguire, your doppelganger. Okay, so crystallization is going to feel more like grizzle. So when you're working, I'm using a lot of my medial epicondyle more so, and you're gonna find grizzle along bone ledges. So I'm shaving around bone ledges, so like around the cusp of the knee or around the ridge of the hip bone, I'm gonna feel a lot of grizzle in there. And yes, you can totally break it up. Grizzle breaks down way faster than like a big massive scar tissue would or calcification. So that is totally able to be cleaned out. Depending on the area you have it in. Just like if you want to like post up and just let us know where you have crystallization you feel built up, maybe you can get a shot glass in there and do one-shot therapy and actually shot glass that grizzle away. Because I used to be in MMA a lot, so I've had my face hit a couple times. I have quite a bit of grizzle along the undersides of my jawline. At night, I will be either taking my index finger and I will be doing a little bit of phalange sweeping to kind of clean out the grizzle along my jawline, or I'll take a shot glass if I'm feeling a little tougher, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to break up that crystallized in Juliana's knee. So she really needs to be clapping it, but she can sit there and she's not going to damage it. She's not going to damage her knee. I promise you, she would have to go so gung-ho that where it hurt. In the backside, it's going to be almost impossible. So mom, you might be able to get in there, but she can sit there and just know, like, I would like you to give us a personal call because I'll talk over how to do more of the technique. I can't be relaying that message through here, but I want her to work around her knee. I'm going to just let it drape onto my body, and I'm actually going to focus pulling apart. I'm coming into that quadricep tendon. I'm coming into vastus obliquus and lataris, and I'm opening up these muscle tissues that come down and connect to the knee itself. And then I'm going to start to work around the bone ledge and work and open up that grizzle. And if not, I want her taking a shot glass or like a essential oil bottle and really starting to break it down. What about the scar tissue from a hematoma on top of a leg? Is it possible to break that down by digging, and is it safe for one to do so? Totally is. I want to know because sometimes people can get hematomas, but the hematoma doesn't go away. So it's pretty much just like coagulated blood that's just hardened under the skin. And I've only ever known 2 clients to actually have to go get it cut open, and they just push out like this big patty of hard clotted blood. But after that, they kind of cut it out. Then I would be doing non-surgical on the area once it heals, just to make sure that not a lot of scar tissue is hanging out in that area. If the hematoma is gone and you notice that the area is protruding more, that area was so damaged that your body put displaced calcium there as the hematoma came, and it all just kind of bound. So then I'm really, because it's going to be so hard, I'm taking an essential oil bottle, because when it's such calcification, like a bunion, or I'm noticing like a small bone spur on the side of the knee, I'm going to take an essential oil bottle, and I'm going to work that grizzle out by digging in with the essential oil bottle all around the area, pulling in, pulling away, breaking up that crystallization.
Yeah, they told me it would go away, and it never did, and it's pretty big
and still round. Okay, and I also want you clapping the crap out of it. So you're going to spend 30 minutes. If you don't have a clapper, use your hands, but your hands will get tired. People are like, then get a clapper. They're very inexpensive, but it is great to clap with your hands. Why? Because I'm stimulating a different extremity. So I'm actually getting, like, I'm doubling up my work. I'm getting more lymphatic drainage, more stimulation, more blood flow happening. But I want you clapping that knee thoroughly for 30 minutes. If it starts to get a little tender, take a minute break. Give yourself a little break. Get back up and do it again. And I want you doing that every 3 to 5 days for 30 to 45 minutes. If it turns black and blue, allow the tenderness to subside. You can be putting essential oils on the area afterwards, doing nice effleurage massage. So that just means like a flower massage, putting some pressure on, and just kind of getting more flow in there. If it bruises a lot, like if it turns black and blue, if anybody on here notices that their body bruises really easily, I just want you to know I love you a lot. You're a little bit of a sensitive person, and that's okay. Being sensitive is great. Caring for people is great. But it means you're putting yourself on the line too much, where you're not putting yourself first, and so you're just getting bruised emotionally. And it also shows the tissue is so hypertoxic. Like if I walk against something and I brush against it and I turned black and blue, I know that I almost have a blood disease. My tissue is so toxic, it's like rotting inside. So I need to, and the more you start to clap it, watch. If the people on there that do bruise easily, pick at one area on your body for 3 weeks, clap it 2 to 3 times a week. The first week you'll turn black and blue. Second week, you might turn a little shades. Third week, I bet you won't even be discoloring in that area, because the tissue wants to be healthier. We're just not putting in the right stuff. What is one-shot therapy method? I will be going, since this is the first day of going over non-surgical, we're just going to be kind of talking about everything. I will be bringing in a shot glass, so please queue in with us on another one of these next Monday, and I might bring the shot glass in that day, and we'll be going over a little bit of one-shot therapy. And it's just taking either a shot glass or like an essential oil bottle, and we can break up little bits of crystallization around our joints that I can reach myself. Like I can't open up my low back with a shot glass. It's just too much. But if I have a bunion, or if I have like a pain in one side of my ankle,
you can work that out.
I'd put money on it. I know you at home, we might feel we're not that special. You're beyond special. You can fix it. And I know you can. The amount of people I've shown this and they're like, I didn't know anything about health or anything, but I fixed my ankle problem. And I'm like, we all have the power to heal. It's just we're given the wrong tools. The world kind of sets us up for failure, but if we keep our eyes open, there are small hints around each corner and around under the carpet. You got to look, but there is the hints that will make you feel like you are the most empowered individual out there. But if we look at like everything like majority of the population, we're only going to see what's on this forefront, and you're only going to get very skim layer of healing, very skim layer of love. I want the in-depth stuff. I want the nitty-gritty. I want to feel empowered on a daily basis, so you can feel like, and I'm talking about yourself, you better be feeling like when I get home, it's like, wow, I really own today. And it's like the day's not even over, but like, I'm so content with where I'm at.
What can I do for tennis elbow and joints in pain from years of plastering walls?
Okay, and sorry, what time is the shows on Mondays? The shows will be at this exact time, hopefully every week. And if there is going to be a time change, we will be letting you guys know in advance. But no, we were planning for the exact same time every week, around 3 to 4 o'clock, maybe a little later if there's a lot of questions going on. And that's 3 to 4 CST, I think.
Central Standard Time.
Perfect. Okay, sorry, what was the last question?
What can I do for a tennis elbow and pain in the joint from years of plastering walls?
I really want you clapping the crap out of it, like, and getting a clapper. And if you guys go into our library, like,
there's tons of material
there's so
there.
much material in there on how to do, like, if you go into the detoxlibrary.com and go to the do-it-yourself healing guide. In the do-it-yourself healing guide, you're going to see so many different little modalities on how to heal. And if you chime in with us next week and I bring out the shot glass, I'll show you how to get a shot glass in and around your medial and lateral epicondyle to take apart that elbow a little bit so you can get more mobility in there. But clap it, please clap it, because it's about stimulation to the area. I would clap my elbow for 20 minutes. That would be a thorough session. So that's what I would do. When I started taking Merigen, I practiced this technique on my right thumb, which has arthritis. I can now close my thumb across my palm. I could not do that before. Thank you. You know what? Thank you. Tell us your success stories on here. People like that. That's so beautiful. You deserve every bit of it. I'm so glad to hear that.
I have pain in both Achilles and I have actual lumps and thickening on my Achilles and need suggestions.
Totally. So these are going to be the hardest. The thing is, if you're not giving them attention, they're only going to solidify. Guys, what's the last stop on the body for blood? My feet. And where's going to be the hardest part to get the blood out of? My feet. Because gravity pulls everything down. So if I'm really toxic as well in my gut, I know I have toxic blood seeping down to my feet. And if they're not getting stimulated a lot, it's just stagnant blood hanging out there. So by having that stagnant, you're getting that crystallization start to build up, because it's that kind of putrefaction in the area, the inflammation that sets in, that's going to start to crystallize and feel like it's shortening the tendons and pulling on it and giving you lack of mobility for you not to be able to stretch out. And so you're like, wow, I used to be able to do that, but now I'm not. So really watch your hydration. Your hydration needs to be kicked through the roof. If you're a female, you should be doing 3 to 3.5 liters of water a day. If you're a male, you should be doing 4 to 4.5 liters of water a day. And yeah, you can be doing like nutraceuticals and those water. That's totally great.
You got to start stretching out that Achilles heel.
You got to start stretching out that Achilles heel. So I would like you to go to a set of stairs. So if you just have some stairs at your house, you're going to turn around, stand on the stairs, and you're just going to allow the toes of your feet to stand on the edge of the stair, and you're just going to press down to extend that Achilles tendon. And I'm just going to stretch it out to not to where I'm hurting myself, but to where I feel just slight tension. I never want to feel pain, but I want to feel slight discomfort, because if you don't feel anything, you're not doing anything. So we got to have some kind of irritation to make it change. So I want you stretching, clapping that area. You could get the DMSO gel and put little bits of the DMSO gel on there once a day to stimulate a lot of circulation going to that area. That's one of our products on our website. The clapping is going to be so crucial. And then once again, please chime on next week so we can go over a little bit of one-shot therapy. And I would show you how to get in around my ankle. And even just taking my thumbs, though, and pressing along my Achilles tendon really vigorously, not being light. I am putting pressure on because I want to stimulate that tendon. You're going to be like, woo, it's kind of tender, because it's tender. It hasn't had a lot of life in there. The thing is, when you touch an area and they're like, ooh, that person is really toxic in the area. Yeah, they could be sensitive, and that's on an emotional level. We don't need to get into that. They're literally just toxic right now. That tissue is toxic. If I go like, hey, man, I worked out yesterday. I'm so sore. That is just the worst. Why'd you do? You are so acidic.
Shows the condition of the muscle.
Yeah.
And what your diet's like.
Like, I should feel sore the next day after working out, but it shouldn't be excruciating. It shouldn't be like, walking up the stairs the next day from leg day. That's just abusive. That's not causing yourself to have pure, strong muscle density. You're actually damaging your body. And you're saying by going to the gym, tearing down is me loving myself. And it's like, nah, it's not really. That's not love. Like, I like to be able to walk without being like, oh, that hurts. Oh, this hurts. Like, that wasn't a good gym session for me then.
So
Does
Karen,
Wolfe Nonsurgical help IBS though? Yes, it will, because we are going, like, I would do Wolfe Nonsurgical on your pelvis and your abdomen. I would be going in and pulling apart the adhesions that have built up. And adhesions, it's like, people are like, what's adhesions? Like I said, that waste that slowly seeps through the inlining of the intestine. What is that? It's mucus, it's plaque, it's old dirty toxins. So that stuff turns to like almost super glue, and it can actually get on the outside of your intestinal wall and it can glue organs together and stuff. So sometimes you'll feel like a clump or a mass and you're like, what is that? And over time it can putrefy so long, people will get like major fibroids in the abdomen. But yes, I would go in there and I would remove the adhesions. And what is adhesions? It's like pretty much just think about like sticky tack or gum. That's outside of the inlining of the intestine, and that's throughout your organ walls. And so it's kind of touching, getting stuff stuck together. So it's not moving freely. I would say probably 80% of the population has a really bad peristalsis, and that just means the motion of the organs wanting to squeeze the waste down to the rectum to get it out. Some people's is like more like what's the word, frozen, like whatever. Some people's is like pretty much shut down. So it's like I ate food and I didn't have to go to the washroom until 2 days later, and it's like we know
that's putrefying in the body.
It's putrefying in the body, and so it really depends on the person. But I could totally help with Wolfe Nonsurgical for IBS. But I would like to get you like a perfect day consultation would cure up the IBS, and then by doing the belly button therapy. Belly button therapy is so key as well, so I would really recommend that.
And just to bring this up about one of the questions in the past about the IBS and the lower back pain, we're not engaging our core. It should be our core that supports our whole body. When we lose that abdominal tone, we put the burden on our back. Our back should be supporting our spine. It shouldn't be supporting that whole body. So no wonder that you have back pain, because you're not engaging these muscles at all.
They're too engaged in something else, trying to work to get the plaque out. And so like that was so beautiful. Couldn't have touched on that better.
Do you recommend dry skin brushing for cellulites?
Totally. Dry skin brushing, stimulation like crazy. And we also have a salt scrub that I would recommend. So if you want to give us a call at 1-855-900-4544, extension 1? Yeah, extension 1. And either ask for Jason or myself, and I will go over what I would do for a cellulite scrub, because it is a little intense, but it stimulates the area very well. But just by doing Epsom salts and stuff on the area is going to really help. But clap the crap out of it after you do the Epsom salt scrub. Because then when you clap that area, you're sending so much blood to the area to hopefully eat some of those fat particles.
And also, where are you noticing the cellulite? If you're noticing it's on your right leg, you know it's coming from the cecum. So it's a good gouge to see where the blockages are coming from. If it's on the left side, it's coming from the sigmoid. So what are you not willing to let go of? What's stagnating? What's happening on an emotional basis that you just can't let go of?
Okay, thank you guys. You are very welcome, man. So Nick, how do you clear a yeast infection? Yeast infection in the lower gut. I would be getting them to do some vaginal infusions. So vaginal infusions are very important. That is going to be in the do-it-yourself guide, I think, as well.
It'll be in there.
Yeah, it'll be in the do-it-yourself guide, because there's a couple products that you put together for the vaginal infusion. That's going to clean you out really quick. That's going to really get you there quick if you just want to kind of get rid of the symptoms. But to clean out why a yeast infection started, I want to go into your diet. I want to go into, you should be on the daily cleansing tea. You should be on the black diamond, the black gold. You should be doing the belly button therapy. And I want you clapping that pelvis like crazy. So I'm clapping the top of my pubic bone to stimulate as much life here as possible. Then I'm coming over to my hip flexors, and I'm just lying in bed at night, clapping my hip flexors, going crazy on my hip flexors to really stimulate as much as I can here. And if your bowels aren't moving, there's your yeast infection. So yeah, and then, but if you want to set up, like doing a perfect day consultation will not just only clean out the yeast infection, well, we'll set up a program to clean out the yeast infection. We'll get you on what your body needs to like live a perfect day lifestyle for what you deserve.
And I'd like you guys to check out the Become Number One at the Art of Number Two. If you go into the A to Z Wellness Masterclass and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you're gonna see that masterclass there, Become Number One at the Art of Number Two, and it's gonna really put together like how this came to be, like why you're having IBS, why you're having digestive issues.
Yeah. Thank you, Magda. Tell the kids we say hi.
Hello.
Yeah, Marlene, so I'm not willing to let go of your shit. In all honesty, girl, you hit the nail on the head. You know it. But the thing is, you're already starting to make the right steps. What did you just say? You just put yourself on the line. You just said, I'm not willing to let go. All right, so what baby steps can we do to start to let go? And if you're not sure of what that is, give us a call. We are here for you. You don't have to take a consultation, guys, but I'm saying by doing a perfect day consultation, we will set you up with a perfect day. You can call us anytime, though, with a question here and there, and we are going to be there for you to help answer anything that you have going on. So if you're not sure of what steps I should take to like start to let go, because I don't know you personally, Marlene, and like I want to know you personally. So is it your mentality? Is it your husband? Is it your kids? Is it you who is feeding you the negative beliefs? Like, who is putting you down, or who is making you have that kind of feeling of like, why is this happening? I just am so irritated all the time. I'm just like fed up. And then yes, that could be the reason why you're not letting go. Or it could be something that we're holding on from the past that doesn't even matter anymore, but it's just causing a small problem. You know what? You're directly right. But like I said, we're here for you. And I think gentle baby steps is how we imprint. I never want you to be jumping headfirst anywhere. So we got this. Trust yourself, and hopefully you'll trust us enough to like kind of guide along and go with you guys.
And start loving yourself, Marlene. You're so beautiful. You got this. Every time you pass by that mirror, you stop, you look yourself in the eyes, and you tell yourself you love you and that you're beautiful and that you got this.
If you guys literally wake up in the morning without saying a couple nice things to yourself in the mirror, your day sucks already. Your day sucks already.
You already set the intention for
You already set the intention for people to put you down, because I didn't even look at myself in the eyes and tell myself I was beautiful, and I'm already out the door, and then I'm already judging from what I think in my head. The number again, please. So our office number is 1-800
1-855-900-4544. You're welcome.
Yeah. 1-855. He's going to write it down there too. 900. 900.
Oh.
No, see, I'm not the only one. 4544. And then they're going to want to do extension 1. And then just always ask, because you might get one of the other practitioners, either ask for Jason or Sage, or you can, if it's something crucial and you don't want to talk to us, because that's fine too. I love you either way. And you want to talk to Dr. Wolfe specifically, you're going to go extension 5. Sage and Jason, are you vegan or vegetarian? And can you each share what you usually eat in a day? I 100% will. I am not a vegan or a vegetarian. I try to take on vegan modalities. The thing is, I don't want to say vegan modalities, because a lot of times vegans are more so for the animals. And it's not that I love slaughterhouses, I'm cool with that. Like, that's not great either. But I'm not saying I don't eat meat, because then I would be lying to you guys. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm going to say 80% of the time I try to eat fresh and raw. So first thing in the morning, I usually don't touch food until I have 2 liters of water in me. And I usually have 2 liters of water by like 9:30, 10 a.m. And then after that, I do a liter of celery juice. So people don't like that too, though. So people don't like what I do. Jason won't really do it much.
I'm starting to do it a bit more now.
People don't really like it, because it's pure celery juice is very, very salty. And it just has a weird taste. But I know how much of a cleanser it is. But I do 1 liter of celery juice first thing in the morning. You could cut it down with apple, or you could do carrot and orange, or you could do beet by itself, or you could do, I do a nice juice to get my track just activated. I got water first to know that I'm hydrated. At least I get a liter in me before you walk out of the house. Because I'm going to say 15% of the time, you're going to get through that whole day without getting any other water in you, especially right when you start. So at least you got that liter before you walked out of the house. After that, so I do 2 liters because it's me, and I'm going to do a liter of celery juice right after. I finish my celery juice probably around 11 o'clock, 11:30. I go for a protein shake. So I do anywhere from 1 to 2 raw eggs, organic coconut milk. I do bananas towards the afternoon because I find it solidifies my bowels a little bit. And I find in the morning, I like to relieve as much of my bowels as I possibly can, because towards the end of the day, that's when I'm going to put my actual heavy meal in. And then I know I go to bed at night for the digestion and I poop it out in the morning. So I do my smoothie with 2 raw eggs, 1 raw egg, depending on how hungry I am, a cup of blueberries and a little bit of strawberries, depending on how I'm feeling. Black diamond, and then some vegan plant-based protein powder. And that'll be like my lunch. If I'm getting really hungry again throughout the day, I'll do that again, but I can just switch up a couple fruits. At the end of the day, either I will have my fiance will make like a quinoa vegetable bowl, and I'll throw that in a wrap. Or 2 times a week, I'm going to be honest, I go out for a steak dinner because I deserve it. And I'm also 25 years old, so my digestive system and my acids are a little bit stronger. Like my hydrochloric acid is a little bit stronger than like a 35-year-old or a 40 or a 60-year-old. The older we get, the slower things run. So we should be doing things less and less and eating more light and fresh.
And also you're logical about it too. If you're feeling more backed up that day, you're not going to go out and have a steak.
100%. And I also just kind of, maybe some days I won't even eat and I'll just do a juice fast. How many grams of protein should we shoot for? What are you wanting though? Like, what are you wanting? Are you working out really hard during the day? Are you just wanting a lunch? Are you constantly on the go, burning like crazy? Like, it really depends on your situation, because it could be like 1 scoop of protein. Or I would be like, for you, since you're working outside doing construction all the time, I want you doing 4 scoops of plant-based protein and just a liter of water throughout the day every 2 hours. Just refuel the body, because I'm picking up rocks and shoveling stuff and lifting heavy all day. I am burning out by the end of the day, so I know I always want some kind of nutritional coming in and refueling. Those construction workers, in all honesty, they could be the most jacked, strongest, healthiest dudes out there if they knew not to drink Red Bull and have burgers for lunch. That's about it. I have so many friends who do it, and I would be like, whoa, man, with the exercise you do a day, you're way healthier than me if you were healthy. Okay. I neglect drinking water, but when I do, I'm amazed by how my body muscle tone comes. But when I do, I'm going to drink more water. Okay, so, and like, guys, we all neglect drinking water to a certain degree. But put this into perspective. Your body is 72% water. That's cool. That's quite a bit. But my cells are 92% water. So if I have problems going on in my body, I know I have some mutation in those cells. How am I going to clean out the cell? How, Jason?
I don't know. Maybe some water would be great.
I think it would be some water. Because how do I clean cells as well? Lymphatic system, sweating, peeing, pooping, making sure those bowels are moving. Boom, that rhymed. But if I'm going to be drinking a lot of water and my cells are 92% water, I know that they're hydrating and they're trying to clean themselves out. But if I'm only drinking 3 cups of water a day, I know they're trying to squeeze everything from my extremities to get the life out of me to stay in the cells, so that I stay not like, so then I don't mutate and I don't create a cancer. I don't create this big fibrotic mass on my side. So it really depends on where you're at. And what's your diet, Jason?
Honestly, very similar to Sage's. It is a little different. Like, I do like to start my morning with about 2 liters of water. That first liter I get in, I like it to be warm to hot. It's like an internal sauna. It gets my lymphatic system going.
And it is smarter to drink hot water, guys. I'm going to say it. I don't like hot water. It really, like, I just don't, like, I will drink warm water, and like when I notice I'm under the weather, I will drink hot water. I don't like it, but I just don't like drinking it. So personal preference. We can't all do everything perfect. but I already am. So
I drink my 2 liters of water, and then I know Sage likes the celery juice. I like to start off with my carrot juice, and I will add a little bit of apple or orange in there. So I like to keep it more liquid as I'm waking up and starting up my digestive tract. I don't like to put so much solid food in there. Nice and gentle, I start up my system, and then so I have my juice, and then probably around like 12 o'clock, I'll have a blueberry banana blender drink. And I'll either put like a scoop of protein in there, or I'll do 1 to 2 raw eggs, or sometimes I won't even do protein or eggs. I'll put like spirulina in there or chlorella, something like that. And I like to keep it simple. I don't want to put so many things in there. I want to make it easy for my digestive tract to break it down so I can assimilate all these nutrients and really utilize it.
You don't be putting more than 6 to 7 ingredients in any smoothie you have.
You're just wasting those nutrients.
Everything in, like if I put flaxseed, chia seed, hemp seed, this seed, and all these powders, all that, and you have the most expensive poop out there. There's nothing of being able to be absorbed anymore.
If you're even pooping.
Yeah, if you're even pooping. And then if not, that stuff is putrefying. And some of it's digestible quick, some of it's not. So what are you putting in there? You got to really kind of go into the Perfect Day Diet in our library, look at the food combining chart. Use that as like your food Bible.
Print that off, keep it on your fridge. Take a picture of it, it's on your phone. So I'll have my blended drink, and it really depends how I'm feeling that day. If I feel more energetic, I will have less food and just more liquids to keep me going. If I'm feeling a little bit like more sluggish and my bowels aren't moving too well, then again, I'll still keep to the juices, more liquids to flush me out. But if I've been working a lot, then I will have like a salad with some chickpeas in there, a nice rainbow salad around probably like 4 o'clock. And then I don't like to eat later than 6 p.m. because I want to give my body that time to really break everything down so my body's not digesting food when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, me and him usually had dinner together around like 6, 7 o'clock at night. Like right after we get off work, we get home, we get changed, we go out for dinner, and then I go off, I go work out, he does his thing. But in general, like I would say 5 days out of the week, and I normally kind of put it during my work week because I find like weekend's not time to party, go crazy, have fun, but it's at the time where I do spend it more with my friends. I'm not with my clients as much, but when I'm with my clients, like I'm not faking it. Like I eat, breathe, and live this stuff. I take majority of our products because I know what they do for me. I see the results I get. But we pretty much have a very similar diet throughout the day. I would just say I eat a bit more meat than he does on weekends. Like I'll go out and I will have a burger. He would prefer to be like, I'll do a piece of fish or something. Like he would eat a little bit.
That's the one thing I've learned, like probably like a year ago, Sage would ask me if I wanted to go out with food, and I'd be so strict to my diet that I wouldn't go out. And that's where I was wrong.
And that actually was almost harder on his body because he was really breaking down his mentality of being like, I need to be perfect, and things weren't always going perfect for him. And he was still trying to be perfect within the diet. That shit was kind of going south.
And then I would end up binging. So I'd have that day where I just eat everything. So there was no benefit to that.
There was no balance. And so if you have balance, that's the amazing thing to have.
And even when we do go out for food, we're considerate about it. We're not just eating everything. We're making sure we're food combining to a degree, making sure we're not so hard on our systems, chewing our food well. We make sure we're well hydrated when we go out.
And that's the thing, guys. If you have like from your perspective, you say, I have a major disease, you got to be 100%. You got to be 100%. And I want 100% for 3 to 6 months. And if it's really severe, 9 to 12 months. It's a year of your life. And then after you did that 100%, and yes, a couple times throughout that year, maybe like 4 or 5 times, I had something on the badder side.
And within those 9 months, you're creating a habit and then a program, so it's so much easier.
And then it's like you get off and you're like, wow, I've dealt with this symptom. I don't have that. I'm not struggling with this. You get to go out and have that glass of wine with your friends. You get to go out and have that burger. You get to go out and do that thing. But it depends on your situation. So like we kind of have to deal with people. We love dealing with people on the one-on-one basis, so I get to know what's going on with you. Is it better to clap on skin or is it okay over clothes? I want it on skin. Yeah, I want it on skin. And your skin is going to go red the first couple times really bad. Like you're going to get bruised and eventually you'll clap quite a bit and you won't even be turning like red there, like that bad. So you'll get, of course, a little tingency of color, but that'll fade as you stop clapping. But at the beginning, like I've gotten into I used to play a lot of sports, so I've gotten into a few accidents where I've had to have actual like small surgeries to fix stuff because I broke it out of position, or I've never had any metal or screws implanted, but a lot of stitches. But I was getting an IV a couple times, when I was like 8 or 9, because they had to put me under before they had to like readjust my arm into place. And she could not find my vein, and I'm a pretty vascular guy. I just think she wasn't really balanced out at the time, and she was just jabbing in my arm. And I clapped this pretty thoroughly about 2 years ago, and I had like these definitive 5 dark blue whole lines pop up, and it looked like I was almost like a drug addict. It's because it's where the trauma lies in the tissue. I was traumatized in that area from her jabbing the needle in a bunch of times. The bruising will come out. So you'll be like, whoa, I don't even remember. That was the accident. That's what that was, because it resurfaces. The cleaner you get, the older the stuff that's going to come out will. Why is DMSO not available in Canada? Is that a thing?
We will get back to you on that one.
I'm actually
We're going to find that out for you.
I'm not for sure about that. I feel like it should be, but Barbie, I will let you know. I'll let you know how my tennis feels and acts if I get a chance. Okay, please do. Thank you. It is in good health stores from company New Roots. I feel like we still sell DMSO to Canada and the States. Yeah, we definitely still have it there, but it might be a different kind of DMSO, but it could be just as good. Just monitor your skin when you're using DMSO, guys, because it is a soluble and it's very strong, and it can start to really dry out and irritate the skin. So just be mindful of that.
Okay, Jacob, I've had a few concussions from playing sports throughout high school. Do you think I could benefit from the Wolfe Nonsurgical?
Totally. I would go in, I would take apart that neck and occiput, and people think the skull is one bone. No, it's comprised of 8. We have sutures all throughout our skull. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to open up. I'm Dr. Wolfe's son, so yes, I am Sage Wolfe. But I'm going to go up and open up the occiput in his neck, bring more spinal fluid up through it past his C1 actually into the brainstem insertion, and I want to get more life and like longevity into that area. I would put you on the C60. I would probably put you on dosages of the C60 like 4 times a day, 3 times a day, depending on how it makes you feel. I'm going to get you to clap the crap out of that occiput and neck area as well for stimulation. How to mask the smell of the DMSO. You can use a drop of the essential oils. Once again, just monitor the skin. The skin can really be affected because it's so strong, and it helps infuse a little bit more, so you can feel like it's almost burning the area. So just monitor that it's not actually burning the area, because sometimes it'll just be like tingling and itchy.
And we do have the DMSO cream. That's more so for muscle bellies. That is more gentle.
And you can use it constantly.
Can you do anything for bulging discs?
Totally. Bulging discs. I would just go in with the non-surgical, and I would open up that spine, getting in between the actual spinous processes and opening up in between each vertebrae so we can give more fluidity to those discs in between. And yeah, I'm not saying what you have is not a problem. It's a problem for you. You come to us, it would be like 2 or 3 treatments, and you'd be like, is this a thing? Like it's not too hard, but yes. I could, if you wanted to one time, if you wanted to call in, maybe we could do a little FaceTime and I could show you some stretches and the foam rolling. Foam rolling was really going to help the spine and elongate that.
And that's all on the do-it-yourself healing in the library.
And that's also in the do-it-yourself healing guide. Barbie, when you do an order, can you please just call into the office and tell them that you want DMSO in your order, and they will make sure it's in it, because I know we can get it to you. I don't know why it's saying that in Canada. There may be a discrepancy on the website, or we might just be out of it, but we do sell, so.
Do we have any places in Minnesota?
I know we have a practitioner. Dana Billings lives near Minnesota, I feel.
So just contact us.
Give us a call, and I don't have a sheet right now. I've trained too many people. Like, I've probably trained over 1,500 people how to do Wolfe Nonsurgical. I would recommend giving us a call, letting us know the area you're in, and I'll get one of our practitioners to locate who would be the closest in general to you. Cat dander. Don't recall demonstrates Wolfe stating anything about this. So is it anyone's belief, hopeful knowledge, that clapping the skull, as Dale demonstrated areas, can prevent or break up osteoporosis? So osteoporosis, the bones are not strong. I would get you on our ionic calcium therapy, but like if you could have an early alkaline diet, clap the area, do light bits of non-surgical, the bone will heal again. We can remove any kind of calcification that's over the occiput area, and we can restructure the actual occiput, the bones itself. We can do that in any area. We can restructure osteoporosis, osteopenia, but the thing is, we are not doing it. Your body's doing it. We're giving you tools. I'm showing you how I can pull apart the tissue so you can really rehydrate the tissue with good nutrition, good circulation, by having a good, healthy diet and having some nutraceuticals in the area to actually rejuvenate the area and heal it.
You definitely have your dad's energy, Sage.
Thank you. I think that's pretty much it for the questions today. This is the first introduction to what's going to be happening every week, guys. We're going to be chiming on every week. So I want you to come back. Any other questions that you do ask that continue to get asked will be put to the next training pretty much, or the next video, and we are going to be going over everything again for you guys. I just want to say, for all of you that did chime on and are still with us, we love you. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
We can't wait to hear of like what little results, what little like milestones we can achieve together, because this is the turning point for a new generation. We need to have healthier people than unhealthier, and I'm so sick and tired of just hearing people give their power up because they don't think they deserve it, or that's all that they've been taught. We have the power. You got the power. Let's come together and let's
all grow together.
Thank you for joining.
Have a beautiful rest of your day.
You know, it's not good enough to have the most powerful courses, treatments, and training. We want to deliver to you the adventure of a lifetime that's going to last a lifetime. And I'm going to take you on a little adventure right now and show you what we are going to deliver. What are we going to deliver? We are going to deliver the authentic you, the real you, the genius inside. How would you like to become not just the master of your mind, but the master of your body, the master of your life? You know what? The most important world is your world, and we're about to show you how to create it.
Found Dr. Wolfe and all his positivity and trying to reshape our way of thinking and help me be a better person, a better mom, better wife. I'm glad I found him in person in Ixtapa, Mexico.
Never limit yourself to beautiful, because that's what you are. Take a look at this beautiful place. We all deserve beauty in our life. You need to create a new program that is unlimited when it comes to things that are beautiful, things that make you happy, things that make you shine, things that make you feel excited. Let's get excited.
This guy's got something really interesting to say and he's sharing it really openly and we're just really not caring what other people think, and I just thought that was really empowering.
What I've learned in my life is this: to be the change you wish to be the change you wish to see, Braveheart, you have to understand you take life one step at a time.
Dr. Wolfe